I'm Charlie.
I'm Megan.
And we're going to be going through our top 10 picks for the best science fiction films of all time. And do you like science fiction films generally?
I do. They have to have a little bit more suspense than like action, but...
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of one of the more important genres because it's got, because it takes... It has more imagination. It requires more imagination, so it has bigger ideas.
A lot of subgenres, I think.
And it helps filmmaking because special effects, they keep pioneering.
Yeah.
Like, think of Gravity last year, and then cut to King Kong back in 1933, and think of how far we've come. And it kind of spills over into other genres too.
It does.
Other genres have...
Lord of the Rings, because of sci-fi.
Oh, yeah.
With the motion capture and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty important genre in my opinion, and it's got a lot of bad ones because every genre has those
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
We don't talk about that one, Megan. I'm so sorry. Did you like that one?
It's
of
funny.
Of course you did. I like the clown. I see the thing that I like about it is the clowns. The imagination that has to make the clowns.
The clowns are evil.
We've actually stopped talking about science fiction films at this point.
We have.
So, do you want me to go first? I'll go first. Okay. So my number 10 movie is The Day the Earth Stood Still. And you've seen that?
I have seen that. Yes.
And you've seen the remake?
I have seen the remake.
Alright, well the one I'm talking about is the original. It's black and white, 1951. And it's, I put it at the top of those, all those movies where aliens come down to Earth with a message for mankind. This is...
the best one.
This is the best one. And it's, the alien's Klaatu. He's a humanoid. For all intents and purposes. He looks like your average Joe, which is actually quite crucial, since he has to be an average Joe for most of the movie. He comes to Earth in peace, and he's the army surrounds his flying saucer. We're talking classic, a proper flying saucer. And he's not welcomed in peace. He's shot straight away. And his sort of robot personal soldier, Gort, one of my very favorite movie robots, comes in to save the day and uses his laser to zap away the guns, which I think is kind of a pretty good indication of what the message of the movie is going to be. It's a very good idea that we're not being responsible with our planet, and perhaps we don't deserve it. And
it's less preachy to the original.
It doesn't preach.
Yeah, the remake preaches a lot about saving the Earth.
I don't think the remake even remembers the message of the first movie, in my opinion. Because no. Okay, so do we agree? Is that a good one? Is that on your list?
Yes. It's my number 6 pick.
Your number 6.
My number 6.
Yeah.
My number 10 is Jurassic Park.
Is that the one with the dinosaurs?
That is the one with the dinosaurs, coincidentally. Oh. It's about a scientist who brings dinosaurs back to life using fossils and brings a group of scientists onto an island, and basically the dinosaurs have taken over the island.
I mean, you do have the first. You do have the first. I'd say half hour where you just get to look at the dinosaurs and you see the Brontosaurus. And in the last half, it basically turns into a monster movie. I like the movie.
Yeah.
I gave it 3 stars, and I'm going to turn my little green light on for Jurassic Park. But
links in the description for his Flickster.
If you have our friend of mine on Facebook, you will see
every single
review. And you'll usually see comments from her, usually disagreeing. And
occasionally agreeing.
Definitely see Jurassic Park for the dinosaurs. Humans, except Jeff Goldblum.
Because he is literally the best part of the entire movie, besides the dinosaurs.
Yeah, the dinosaurs, Jeff Goldblum, John Williams score, which I can play on the piano.
I did go back and see it when it was re-released in IMAX in 3D.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound horrible, but when I first saw it, I was a little kid, and I remember absolutely hating it.
Because it was scary?
Hated the movie.
We should point out that this isn't something for 9-year-olds.
Yeah. When we would have saw it when we were like...
I saw it when I was a kid.
Yeah, when we were 5
it was
or
released
6.
in 93. That's the year I was born.
Yes, that was the year we were
Yeah,
born.
so I saw it, I don't know, I was probably 6 or 7,
yeah.
I don't know.
I saw it when I was 5 or 6, and my brother loved the movie. So I had seen it multiple times
Freak.
over the course of like a couple of years, and I remember absolutely despising this movie. And one of my best friends loves Jurassic Park, so she dragged me to the theater to see this, and I was like, I don't actually want to see this, because it's the same when we went and saw Titanic too, because I saw that when it was released.
I would love to see that in theater.
It was not very good. I mean, it was Titanic. You couldn't even tell that there was 3D in it.
Yeah.
And we went in and saw it in IMAX in 3D, and with like the theater's surround sound and just like the giant picture and like the stuff flying at you. It was absolutely amazing. I'm like, I have been wrong.
The ones with a lot of spectacle are the ones you have to see them in theaters.
You have to see them.
And the sound effects, like hearing a dinosaur roar, you want that as loud as possible. And you want to see the T-Rex. You want to see it as big as possible.
Because the T-Rex is the most defining moment. Everybody knows when the T-Rex comes out.
That's when the movie kind of switches gears and comes. It's not on my list.
No.
I thought about it and then I realized it's not good enough. But it is good.
He's a snob.
Okay.
My number 9 is a movie called Equilibrium.
It is Christian Bale as I think a police officer of the future or something.
Yes, and he has to uphold the laws of the current government, where
So
everyone is basically the same. They're all programmed so that they believe the same thing. And
is it a pill that suppresses emotion?
Yes,
did I dream
it is.
that?
They don't have emotion.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Well, that's original.
And over the course of the movie, you get to watch Christian Bale slowly change because there's these outsiders, one who is played by Sean Bean, and spoiler alert, he does die.
That is not a spoiler.
It's not a spoiler.
All I had to say was Sean Bean.
And Sean Bean his character kind of influences the course of the rest of what Christian Bale's character is going to go throughout the rest of the movie. And you get to watch him change and see him not take the pills anymore and slowly becoming back to what we are now with like the emotions and stuff, and it has a really, really pretty score.
I actually know the score on the piano.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bum, bum,
yeah.
Bum, bum. Yeah, I do know that. And action?
It is action-y. It has action in it, but I wouldn't classify it as an action movie. I would classify it more of a sci-fi movie. Just because of...
I can't really review the movie because I haven't seen it.
It's pretty memorable.
Special effects? It doesn't strike me as an effects film.
Not really, no. That's why I actually really like it, because it's mostly just about the story.
Shall I tell you my number 9?
Sure.
Okay. My number 9, I hope you've seen this, because I think it's definitely one of the classics of science fiction, and it's Forbidden Planet.
I have seen
You have seen that? Okay,
I have seen that,
good.
Yes.
It's, I believe it's a distress call from a planet, alerts a ship with a hibernating crew, I think. I think they're in cryosleep.
I believe they
Yeah.
are, yeah.
I wonder where Alien got the idea. And Leslie Nielsen is the captain. They arrive at the planet answering a distress call, and they find, I believe it's a scientist. He lives alone with his daughter.
Yes.
And another one of my very favorite movie robots. What's his name in the movie? The name of the robot. I know the robot's name is Robbie the Robot.
Yeah.
But in the movie, he's got another name.
I don't remember.
There is a mysterious force on the planet, an invisible force. Whenever Predator got the idea. And it's threatening the lives of everyone basically on the planet. And the planet sort of becomes its own character because it's very, very vividly realized. And
that's why it's a good movie.
I haven't seen or read Shakespeare's The Tempest, but this is apparently Shakespeare goes sci-fi.
Yeah,
because
it is loosely.
Yeah.
If you haven't read The Tempest, do it, because
I've not read The Tempest.
It's pretty good.
But
It's
just
not my favorite, but
just watch Forbidden Planet.
that one's way easier.
Yeah. So Forbidden Planet, do we we like it. Is it on your list?
It is not on my list.
Did it come close?
It did come close.
My number 8 film. Oh yeah, my number 8 film is Back to the Future.
Really?
Someone wasn't expecting that. Yeah. I love Back to the Future. I've seen it probably 4 times. Well, I'm discounting when I saw it as a kid because I couldn't remember it. No. But just in the past recent years, I've seen it 4 times. And for those who don't know, and you probably should by now, it stars Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly. Great name. It was made in 1985, so this is obviously an 80s film. And he's what I imagine every slacker teenager in high school looked like and was back in 1985.
Oh, the 80s.
Wanted to be a rock star, and he has a very pretty girlfriend.
As per the 80s.
As per the 80s. He doesn't have too much going on for him because he's like a step away from the tension, and he's only played very brilliantly, I must say, by the great Christopher Lloyd.
Thank you, Christopher Lloyd.
Thanks, Christopher Lloyd. And Christopher Lloyd's character, Doc, makes a time machine out of a DeLorean.
A very iconic car right now.
My favorite time machine.
Yeah.
In all time machine movies.
It's
the best time machine. It's a DeLorean.
pretty damn
The doors
good.
open like that.
It's true.
Which, after a series of unfortunate events, Marty is accidentally sent back 30 years into the past to 1955 by himself. And he bumps into his parents as teenagers. And one of my favorite things to do is to imagine, this is a genre full of ideas, and this is one of my favorite ideas. Would you be friends with your teenage dad? Would your teenage mom fancy you? And so Marty has to find Doc, because Doc, whether he knows it or not, is going to make a time machine. And that's they have to go on a little adventure to not only get Marty back to the future, but also to help him get his parents together, because he may or may not have interfered with that a little bit.
He's a little troublemaker.
Now, what was with that look when I mentioned Back to the Future, Megan?
So many people are going to be so upset with me.
I can think of one.
I find there's a lot of comedy in it, and
This is a comedy. It's
a comedy.
It's on our science fiction list, but this is a comedy.
That is not a genre that I am particularly fond of. And
you don't like the comedy element?
I'm not a fan of American humor.
You like British humor,
I do.
I like British humor as well, yes.
I find it really hard to get behind, because it's a bunch of fart jokes, basically.
Not in Back to the Future.
No, but of American humor.
You don't like when he's trying to convince Doc that he's from the 1950s Doc, that he's from the future, and Doc says, who's the president in 1955? And McFly says, Ronald Reagan. Ha! The actor! You don't like that? Stuff like that. It doesn't
make me laugh.
Makes me laugh. I've seen it.
I mean,
times.
I do like the movie. I will say that, but
a bit.
It's not one of the ones that I immediately will think of. Or
I'd watch it now.
My number 8 is The Matrix. It's about a man named Neo.
He is a computer hacker, and he lives in a reality he's not quite sure about. And
he meets a man named Morpheus, who tells him that the world that he's living in isn't the real world. It's a computer-generated world. And
like most movies nowadays.
Like most movies. And Morpheus, he recruits Neo because he believes that Neo is a man called the One, who will set the rest of the world free from their computer prison.
Because every real human is actually incubated.
Yes, they're farmed.
They're farmed, and their brain power is basically a battery running the machines. Also, there's Agent Smith, who is played by the absolutely wonderful Hugo Weaving. We agree on Hugo Weaving.
We love. And he is he's basically a virus.
That's how I think of him.
Yeah.
Like he is a computer program within the Matrix world, and he's a bit
Rogue.
bit faulty. Bit faulty.
He's a bit rogue.
The kind of thing you want deleted.
And Agent Smith is the one who is trying to stop Neo from basically saving humanity. I like The Matrix because it was the beginning of something new.
It was like when it first came out.
Very,
very mind blowing. The idea that
Yeah.
reality isn't reality.
Yeah.
And well, for me, it's
And Keanu.
Jeez. For me, it is kind of a good question. Like, what is reality?
Yeah.
Is it what we can like think, we feel, or touch, or
what
is it? But I think it's actually the sequels that do a good job of expanding on the ideas. This one kind of has one idea.
Yes.
And then I kind of wanted to have a few more ideas.
The sequels do a good job in expanding what the first one was kind of starting.
Which is what all good sequels are supposed to do.
They weren't the best sequels.
They were fine. But we're not talking about those sequels.
No.
To me, it's kind of that effect where you see something that impresses you,
Yeah.
and then after a while, it dies down.
Yeah.
For me, it did die down. This is not on my list.
No.
I gave it 3 stars, same as Jurassic Park. And also, the acting is very flat. And I'm surprised that you single out Lawrence Fishburne as being not particularly good. I think he has the best screen presence in the whole movie. And it's Keanu Reeves, and it's Carrie-Anne Moss. That are very, very flat.
Keanu, I don't even go by his acting anymore because he is The Devil's Advocate.
I've not seen it.
Is the only movie where I find that and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and My Own Private Idaho are the only 3 movies that I really think of, like, when I think Keanu Reeves has a range.
I mean, it comes across as pretty flat, and the writing, obviously, it's kind of ingenious ideas, but I'm talking about the dialogue, the things that they say.
The actual script.
It has the same problem I have with quite a few other science fiction films like this, is it's very, very exposition heavy.
Yes.
It has to lay down the ground rules so that we know what they're talking about.
What's happening. How the rules work.
Yeah, but the thing is, after you've seen it once, these kinds of films, when you have to see it a second time, and you know what's happening, exposition becomes very, very tiresome.
Yes.
So The Matrix is not on my list. It didn't even make my top 20. Sorry.
I really like it. Number 7 is called Sunshine.
Tell me more, Megan.
Okay. It is about these group of scientists who are making a journey to the sun because the sun is dying, and they have to
basically blow up the sun.
So
reignite the sun.
Yes.
Whatever.
Make a black hole or something like that.
You're thinking Star Trek.
It wasn't explained that well what the heck they were doing.
And the reason the sun's dying is not because of, eventually it will die. I think it's infected with some sort of atom. And that's basically the plot.
Basically.
The scientists have to go blow up the sun.
To make it alive.
One of the reasons I do love this movie is the science.
The science.
Because the reason the sun's dying, that's apparently an actual theory that scientists have. And the characters are scientists. These are not stupid people. No. Because we see a lot of movies like this where I think of The Core as a bad example, where people have to go to the center of the core to basically blow it up.
I like it because they don't treat us like we're stupid.
Yeah.
Like, they explain the science to you so you can understand.
Bad science. This is a movie with very good science, and it's a great cast. And we actually care about all the characters.
Yes.
Movies like this, they have to die one by one, usually some self-sacrificial way. But because the science is believable, and because the characters are very real and very well played, we don't want to see them die.
If you haven't seen it, Chris Evans is in it for all of you Captain America fans.
And Cillian Murphy's in it for anyone who likes good acting.
And
Michelle Yeoh, and
what's his name? He played
Rose Byrne.
The only problem I have with this movie.
She has a problem with one of the movies on her list.
It's really, really good, and
It's very good. It's dazzling special effects. Even though it's just the sun.
Yeah.
Just to look at the sun.
Just the sun.
Which we see every day, unless you live in Nova Scotia, which is about as rare as a rainbow. Then
it snowed in June.
It was still icy in
April.
1st of April.
Yeah.
I remember the 1st of April.
It snowed in April.
Yes.
Canada.
You have to move.
The special effects is amazing. The story is amazing. The characters are amazing. The actual dialogue is pretty good.
It's well written. Yeah. Well written, directed by it's written by and directed by the same people behind 28 Days Later.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is very smart.
And Danny Boyle, the director, he's very, very good at having everything keep moving.
Work. Yeah.
Everything moves. It's a very, very kinetic movie. All of his movies are. He directed Slumdog Millionaire, and the everything is just. It doesn't pause for. There's no boring bits.
He's a very good director.
Very good director. Yeah.
The only problem I have with the movie is about halfway through, about really close to the end, it turns into like a slasher fic.
Yeah, monster in the house kind of thing. That didn't. But I think that if they hadn't injected that in, it may have gotten a bit.
It would have been
tiresome.
Boring.
Yeah.
Because
I think that works.
It does.
I think it works.
But it was kind of off. The first time that I watched the movie, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Well, in lesser hands,
yeah,
it wouldn't have worked. It would have felt out of place, and it would become a horror movie. You'd be wondering who's behind this corner.
Yeah.
But it all fits as one whole.
They did the horror part really. Because I wouldn't consider it horror.
No.
They did the horror part really, really well.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a jump scare thing.
So my number 7 is one. I don't think you've seen this actually. It's called Solaris.
I don't think I've seen
No,
that.
and you may have heard of the remake with George Clooney. This is not the remake I'm talking about. It's the original movie.
I didn't know there was a remake. So.
It takes place on a space station where the crew has seemingly gone insane. The space station is orbiting a sort of a gaseous planet that humanity's found, and we're kind of curious about it, and we're sending stuff down there and coming back up. And they've seemingly gone insane, so they send a psychologist, Dr. Kelvin's the character's name, and he's... it becomes very clear to him over the course of just a few minutes that he's there. He's there, and something is apparently very, very wrong. There's only supposed to be there's supposed to be 3 people. One has taken his own life, and the remaining 2 are acting very, very strangely. And it seems to be very apparent that they have visitors in their quarters. People who shouldn't be there, who at times don't seem to be there at all. And very soon, he has a visitor of his own. And it's his wife, who's been dead for 10 years.
Doctor gets his wife.
And the presence of the wife on board really sort of throws him off, and we're starting to wonder, what's what? Is she an alien? Is he going insane? And this is in a lot of movies where hallucinations are involved. You have to wonder, is this something science fiction or is this something psychological?
Yeah.
And this movie plays that game really, really well. You're not quite sure if people are going nuts or if, is it the planet? Is it something from within themselves? And this was directed by Andrei Tarkovsky, Russian director. This is a Russian film. Do not be afraid of subtitles, please.
Subtitles are the greatest thing ever, and if you watch it dubbed, I will come down to wherever you are and stab you in your sleep.
Yes, it's a Russian film, and Tarkovsky. I don't know if you've seen any of his films. I've seen Andrei Rublev, which is a black and white biopic. Stalker, which is another kind of science fiction film that I was very tempted to have on my list instead of Solaris. But the ideas are so abstract in Stalker, it's not quite in the same range. It's more of an art film with science fiction elements. So I'm going with Solaris. I would say watch both Solaris and Stalker as a sort of double feature, because a lot of the ideas are very much what Solaris is about. Same with Stalker.
Yeah.
They kind of have some things in common, and there are loads of questions that the movie asks, and I was asking long after the movie was over. But yeah, I think it's a very great film, and I think people are not going to see this because it's 1972 and it's Russian, and it's very deliberately paced. It's 2.5 hours, and it takes a long time to actually get to the space station.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you seen Solaris?
I have not, but I probably will. Because don't be afraid of foreign films.
So my number 6 film, I really hope you're happy with my number 6 film. My number 6 film
We shall see.
is a Pixar animated film called WALL-E. Okay, comedy. It's a love story. It's a very good love story between two robots, which are
a very good movie.
And it's science fiction, and it's an adventure for this little robot that's set 700 years in the future. WALL-E is a garbage disposal unit. We've set in a future where we've really kind of trashed the planet in quite a literal way, while humanity's living in a giant spaceship up in good old space.
Space.
WALL-E and his kind were left to clean up the planet, but WALL-E seems to be the only one left, and he's developed something of a personality. Another one of my favorite movie robots. I've got lots of them. WALL-E is suddenly not the only robot on the planet, because a space shuttle comes down and introduces Eve, whose her job is to look for plant life, see if humans can come back to Earth yet. Eve's looking for plant life, and WALL-E sort of takes a fancy to this very pretty white kind of like a white egg. It's eventually it comes time for Eve to go home, and WALL-E hitches a ride on the space shuttle, and he goes on a little adventure that's eventually going to change the course of humanity. It's a great movie.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
It is a great movie, and I really hope my mom watches this, because she does not like WALL-E. She finds it depressing.
I can see where she's coming from.
I don't, because I had nothing but sheer delight from the first.
It was so good.
Like, even if you can consider the bleak landscape at the beginning, it opens with like "Hello Dolly" playing or something.
Yeah. I really like it because it's not preachy.
No, it's not like some sort of
it's
pseudo.
not an environmental thing.
No, it's not an environmental thing.
Yeah. It is, but it's not.
But there are a lot of things that this movie is, and it works on every single one. I laughed, and I came very close to tears, as I'm sure
did cry.
You did cry. Yeah. So, anything to add to WALL-E?
No, you pretty much covered everything that I think about that movie.
Did it make your list?
It didn't, because I didn't pick any animated films.
Oh, I wouldn't have ruled out any animated films, because
I just did
I don't differentiate animation as a genre.
No.
It's a medium of
it's a medium.
telling a story, and WALL-E is a science fiction film that happens to be made with computers.
And none of them popped into my head. My number 6 choice was his number 10, which was The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Just to clarify, it is the original.
It is the original.
Okay. Just the remake didn't come close, did it?
No.
So, you want to give us your number 5 then?
My number 5 is E.T.
Is it?
Yes, actually.
How about that?
E.T. is about this young boy who finds an alien in his shed one day.
It's basically true, yeah.
And shenanigans.
Yeah.
And
they kind of they hit it off. They
become very good friends.
Very good friends, to the extent that something that happens in the movies, they have some sort of almost psychic link.
They do. Yeah, they're kind of like what people think of twins, where like they.
Yeah. There's no truth to that, is there? No, I didn't figure. No.
And E.T. is trying to get home. And
yeah, he's left behind by his alien family.
Yeah, and that's.
And they become friends. This is a great movie, and it actually happens to be my number 5 as well. Exactly the same spot. I think it's a terrific Spielberg movie. I actually wrote off Close Encounters of the Third Kind from my list to put E.T. on, because they're both Spielberg movies and they both deal with aliens.
Yes.
And I would say maybe a double feature: watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind and then watch E.T.
E.T. is definitely made for a younger audience.
Oh yeah, and it's got some product placement. Those Reese's Pieces, and
it was the 80s, people.
And it's a very very touching story about friendship.
Yeah, it's a very feel good.
It's a magical movie. That's a word I wouldn't be afraid to use. I think it's a very magical movie. And the image that obviously stands out for me is the bicycle going across the moon. In case you didn't know what that was from.
That's E.T.
That's E.T. And E.T. E.T. is a special effect.
It is.
And he is a character.
Yeah.
Like
he was a puppet.
He was a puppet, yeah.
He was a puppet.
Yeah, unless you've seen the revamped one where he's CGI in some scenes. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Stick with puppets.
Stick with puppets. Yeah. My number 4 pick, I really hope you have seen this. It is one I really hope people will start watching because it is one of those ones people are afraid of. It's a silent film. It's German. And it's called Metropolis.
That's my number 4.
Is it your?
That's my number 4.
Looks like our top 5s are going to be exactly the same. Metropolis is set. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be in the future, but it's set in what I perceive to be another world.
Yeah.
Because it's
either another world or what they thought the future would be.
Yeah, but it's about the son of the mayor of Metropolis. We'll call him the mayor of Metropolis. It is kind of a Moses story because he
leads.
Basically leads. There are 2 classes in the films. There's obviously the upper classes who live in the giant skyscrapers and have fountains on the rooftops, and down below are the sweating workers.
The underbelly.
The underbelly, the ones who there's an accident, they die, and they're carried off, and they're replaced.
Yeah.
They're basically parts. They may as well be moving parts in a machine. And there's a beautiful woman called Maria, I think, and she's the sort of underground leader, hoping to join the 2 classes, the upper class and the lower class. And the son of the mayor of Metropolis, I can't remember his name. It's like call him Klaus. Something German.
Yeah. German.
He takes a liking to Maria, or Marie, and eventually becomes quite a big part in doing just that and joining these 2 classes together. And the set design is like I really believe that those buildings went up for miles in the sky, and there's airplanes. It's obviously like models.
Yeah.
This is another message movie, not preachy. I think very, very sort of naively delivered.
Yeah.
Being
it is
1920s.
from the 20s.
It's very safe. It's not like no one's going to be outraged by it. It plays it very safe, and it's still a great message today that man is created equal, and it's one of my favorite sci-fi films.
The lady who plays Maria is very good.
Yeah, because she essentially has 2 parts, doesn't she? There's if you've ever seen the Star Wars films and you've seen C-3PO, C-3PO is modeled after a robot in Metropolis, which is, I guess, meant to be a sort of spy, I guess, to infiltrate the group, and it's after looking like C-3PO, it's made to look like Maria, and she has to play basically 2 parts, and she's great in both.
She is amazing.
There are a few different versions to this movie.
Yes, there is.
And one that I would recommend to people if they're kind of afraid of black and white and they're afraid of silent films.
It's very safe.
The one version I recommend is that there's a version that was released in 1984. Giorgio Moroder, the synthesizer composer, he composed a synthetic score.
It's very good.
And it's in color. Have you seen this one?
I have seen that one. That's the one I've seen more than the black one.
Okay, yeah. And that's only, I think, 80 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're going to see that and you don't really want to see it black and white, watch the colored version.
Watch it in black and white.
Yeah, I don't like it when when black and white films are colorized. But this is because it's a science fiction film. It's got this great world. It comes alive a little bit more for me when it's in color.
It's worth it to watch it in color, but I think you should watch it in black. My number 4 is the exact same thing.
So we agree again. So you want to tell me what your number 3 is?
My number 3 is Aliens.
Really? Yeah. Aliens, okay. Tell me, this is, we should make it very clear, it's a sequel. Okay. It's an alien parasite.
Yeah.
Goes onto someone's face and it implants an egg.
Yeah.
And the alien bursts out and it grows into this...
alien.
This monster. This was actually my first horror experience. And I've often named it as the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. Am I off on that, or...?
Oh, it's not for me personally.
Sigourney Weaver is the main character, and she plays it very strongly. She's not screaming through halls.
Thank God.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into you talking about Aliens, your number 3 choice.
the second one continues with
Pretty much picks up where the first
basically where the first
left
one
off.
left off.
Yeah.
You bring back Sigourney Weaver.
Thank
and
you. She's in cryosleep.
She's in cryosleep.
Yeah, she's been frozen for a little while.
And
with Jonesy, the cat. And they wake her up. Well, she does report it, and they don't really believe her.
Yeah.
But they decide to go back to the original planet where they picked up the parasite. Yeah, don't go to the alien planet where a parasite that kills people. But they do.
They do.
And
they do that.
It's not really populated by people anymore, is it? No.
Not so much.
There's only one alien in the first Alien. There are
couple.
Do you think maybe that's why they called it aliens instead of alien?
Actually, that makes a lot more sense.
Mm.
I don't
And
know.
so they're on the planet doing their rescue mission, and they basically get stranded,
Yes.
giving Bill Paxton lots of opportunities to whine while Sigourney Weaver broods,
funny how
while
he
Michael
does that a
Biehn
lot.
just shoots stuff. And so this is number 3 on your list.
Yes.
I'm glad you like it, because I'm actually going to do a very naughty thing. I'm going to give it my little red light, because the first movie is kind of a miracle of suspense and claustrophobia, and having a very imaginative design that they only show a little bit of at a time.
Yeah.
They don't exploit their little special effects creation. And this one does exploit special effects creation. At the first hour, I'd say, of slow convincing people to go to the planet, getting to the planet, then we're switch gears and we have, instead of a horror movie, we have non-stop action and noise and guns firing and aliens screeching and little girls being kidnapped, wondering if we're going to save the little girl. Is the planet going to blow up?
Yeah.
And not even close to being anywhere on my radar for the greatest science fiction films of all time. There are a few things I like. I like the production design, like the hallways and the little cocoon things, and the aliens themselves are well made, but they're just they're boring.
Yeah.
They bore me. And Sigourney Weaver.
Basically, that's why is Sigourney Weaver.
She holds some of the movie together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the make that they did for the aliens, and I really like Sigourney Weaver, and I really like action movies. And
it's just noise, and it's flashing lights, and it's long. It's especially if you've seen the extended version. It's 2.5 hours long.
Don't watch the extended.
Actually, the extended version has a bit more characterization and a few extra scenes that kind of pace the movie. No, I'm shocked that this is your number 3 choice. Over Metropolis. Well, and the reason our lists are a little more reliable is because this isn't. We don't tally up popularity and money. We've actually seen these movies, and these are our opinions.
Yeah.
Like, we're being completely honest.
Real.
Okay, my number 3. We've broken the cycle of having our top 5 matching verbatim.
We're not gonna have anything to comment.
My number 3 is another Steven Spielberg movie. I wrote off Close Encounters of the Third Kind in favor of E.T., and this is one of his newer ones. It's called AI, Artificial Intelligence. Here we go. It's a story that was going to be adapted by Stanley Kubrick. He was developing the material and decided that Spielberg's sensibilities would be a bit more suited. And Spielberg has created quite a very interesting movie, you have to admit. It's very interesting. Yeah. The backstory is that it's after global warming, the tides have kind of risen and supplies are getting kind of short, and people are not necessarily allowed to have children right now because it's a little congested. So he proposes that they build a robot child that will be designed to love a parent or parents, and so we're introduced to a family, a mother and a father and a son who's ill and in the hospital. Yeah. And so Monica is the mother, and it's for the first half hour. I think it's really Monica's movie.
Haley Joel Osment.
Haley Joel Osment is the robot named David.
He's so cute.
He was cute.
He was cute.
Yeah. This was 2 years after his Oscar nomination for The Sixth Sense. Which is very good, and he's equally good here, playing a machine who never blinks, he plays a very realistic young boy, as well as making us believe that he's a machine.
Yeah.
And that's where the themes of love really get.
The ending is really sad.
It's a sad movie. It goes through many stages. At first, it's a bit of a family drama, like a domestic drama, where it's after David imprints on Monica.
Yeah.
There's a bond, but there's troubles. He's not a real boy, and she knows he's not a real boy, and he doesn't quite understand. He's designed just to love.
To love her.
And he, in a way, develops something that robots don't have. Even though he's programmed to love, he needs love back, and I think that's kind of a testament to everybody. We want someone to love, and we really want to be loved.
Yeah.
And this movie goes through many stages. Becomes a sort of film noir in a part where Jude Law is introduced as a gigolo robot, a gigolo Joe, and he helps David on a little odyssey that David has to go on. He's looking for the blue fairy, which he read about in Pinocchio, and so he wants to become a real boy and hopefully earn Monica's real love. If you see this movie and you think it's messy or somehow seamless, watch it a second time. I think a second viewing will really make it feel more of a whole. And after all,
two directors.
No, it didn't. It had one director. It had one guy kind of adapting the material, but Kubrick died.
He died
In '99.
It was his baby.
Yeah.
And
it's true.
And him and Spielberg were really close.
They were friends,
so.
But to me, this has kind of got everything of both directors. It does come back always to the theme of love, of wanting to be loved, and it is a very very poignant ending. And what do we think?
I like it.
Yeah. I think you like it. You don't love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did this come anywhere near? No.
It's not one of the movies that I go.
No,
I don't gravitate towards this movie.
I think most audiences and most critics don't. I consider
Haley
it a misunderstood movie.
is very good in it. The ending
He's always good.
Is very good.
Mm.
Getting to the ending, for me personally, I found it boring.
I was with it from the opening, and it's a very good looking movie. I'm not talking about.
Very good.
I'm not talking about the special effects. I'm talking about the look of the movie, the way it's shot, how there's shadows and he steps into light, and
the cinematography is
very good cinematography by Janusz Kaminski, who's Spielberg's regular cinematographer. Yeah. And these are very good special effects. You have
they are very good.
They use for robots that are missing limbs. They have real amputee actors, and. Jude Law, in a very good supporting performance, I think he's good enough to have received an Oscar nomination. Actually, I do. And Haley Joel Osment as well. I think
Haley's really good.
This only received 2 nominations actually: music and special effects.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring got both of those. I think we know which one she prefers. This is a very very special movie.
I think for the people who really like it, it does mean a lot.
There are probably a select few who will really respond to this movie. A lot of people, it would probably leave a lot of people cold. I suspect it left you a bit cold.
No, I enjoyed it while I was watching it.
You said you were bored.
I was bored, but I did enjoy it because I understand why people like this movie.
It's got a lot of good stuff.
Why people are just like, this was the...
I wonder if it's because it's so unlike anything. Because the key word here is interesting.
Yeah.
Anyone can watch this, and it's even if you don't like it, you can talk about it. You can talk about the themes, you can talk about the effects, you can talk about the different levels that it goes through.
I think it would have been a lot better if it had stuck with either being a Spielberg movie or...
I think it is kind of tug both ways, and I think that makes it so much more interesting. Is that it doesn't feel it doesn't just stick with one tone. I think Spielberg really makes it one whole vision, and if you don't think it does, I'll say it again. Watch it a second time. One of the greatest. And I wrote off Minority Report to get this on there because it's another Spielberg movie, but this is also they're made back to back, two different years, and they have the same kind of futuristic tone. So E.T. and AI are my two Spielberg movies, and I don't have any more Spielberg movies.
There you go.
Yeah. So we both like it to varying degrees.
Yeah. It would be kind of a yellow for me.
Okay. All right. Bright green for me. My number two is getting very. Oh, don't be scared.
You just started smiling. I'm like, oh god.
Oh no! It's because I love this movie so much. My number two pick is something anyone can watch because it is so very short. It's only, I think, 15 minutes long. It's A Trip to the Moon. People will probably recognize the very famous image of the moon with a face and a little.
Oh, I love that movie.
You didn't. You looked like you didn't know what it was. It's about a group of scientists who have a dream of going to the moon. This was 66, 67 years, I think, before the actual moon landings. And this epitomizes why I love the genre of science fiction, because it's like made by dreamers, about dreamers who hear that something's impossible, and then they go and do it. They go to the moon and they find...
you might want to say the title.
I did. A Trip to the Moon.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I
wasn't
clues in the plot. Or the plots, yeah. All you need to know is the title of the movie and kind of know what it's about.
That's
the
end.
There's so many details that I love about it. In the opening scene, the scientists are together and they're dressed as sorcerers, as wizards, and I find that so a very, very special way to imagine scientists as science being this sort of magic.
Yeah.
Or this.
It is.
It kind of, and this is 1902. We haven't come quite as far. That's why I've seen this movie probably 5 times in these past 2 weeks. It's only, give it a chance. It's only 7 minutes or 15 minutes long.
I think it's
And it's I could watch it over and over. I feel like a little kid in a candy store anytime I sit down and.
If you want to start watching black and white movies, I think start with this one.
Because it's short. It's a good kind of initiation.
Yeah.
And it as a historical thing, it is made in 1902. This is when narratives first started coming out. Just to watch this is over a century ago. I could watch the movie now.
Yeah.
I almost consider it having on the list because it's a short film, but it's a film.
Counts.
It is a film, and it just happens to be not very long. I love this movie. I love this movie so much.
I can tell.
Yeah, I cannot. Bright green light, like the light bulb has burst. Please tell me.
I feel so uncultured now with my number 2.
It is number 2?
No, I said I feel uncultured now with my number 2.
Okay, we're taking a step down in quality here, I bet. Oh, please don't be what I think it is. I'm still afraid that this one particular movie is going to pop up.
Oh, God. Alright, well...
Okay, and A Trip to the Moon. So you have seen it?
I have seen it.
And I hope you love it as much as I do.
I really do.
And is it on your list?
It's not.
No, I
didn't know if because it's so short.
It is short. Like, and that's. Oh, please see it, guys.
Watch it.
Please see it.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Watch it 10,000 times and enjoy it every second.
Before I die, I'm probably gonna have watched it 10,000 times. So what's your number 2, Megan?
My number 2 is a little film called Serenity.
Somebody's a fan.
I'm a brown coat. I am guilty.
Well done.
But the movie is a continuation of a show called Firefly by Joss Whedon, which is amazing.
Do you have the box set?
I may have the box set.
I have the box set.
I might have.
I'm glad to meet a mutual Firefly fan.
Serenity takes place...
well, in space.
In space, yeah. They're...
Well, I think we should say what the Serenity is.
Serenity is the ship.
Yeah, a Firefly model, and the ship is a character.
The ship is the character.
I could draw you a map of where everything is, and I
love that.
If you've seen the show, watch the
show first.
I didn't watch the show first. I watched the movie.
Serenity you can watch by itself.
You can, but I think
watch the show first. You'll connect with the characters more.
You can connect. Like Joss Whedon writes characters so well.
He is an amazing character.
You can watch Serenity and you can still kind of appreciate them, but they will mean more to you if you see the show first.
Serenity was made for the fans.
Oh yes, well, anything Joss Whedon makes, I
It's
think,
for
is
the fans.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon is an amazing man, and I love you, Joss Whedon. Serenity kind of takes place during Firefly, but takes place after Firefly because all the characters are together.
It follows a crew.
A crew. Mal, River.
You're not going to list them all, are you?
Yes.
It's a captain and
No.
a captain and his crew, and they're carrying two fugitives.
Yeah.
And one fugitive
brother
and sister, and the sister is someone very, very special. She's a genius, and she's a little bit of a mind reader.
She's great.
She's crazy.
Her brother saves her basically from the government because the government is experimenting on her brain.
Yeah, trying to turn her into a soldier, I guess.
A weapon. And they are running from the law, basically, because they're all criminals.
Well, I'll pitch in. So as far as follows a...
It follows a group of ragtag criminals.
Space cowboys.
Space cowboys, yeah. It's basically space cowboys. As they're running from the Alliance, which is the government of
the sort of totalitarian government, and in the show they're seen as a sort of very, very big force. Yeah. Here it's epitomized with one very, very good movie, a great movie villain with kind of his own agenda, and his own agenda is that he doesn't have an agenda. He's supposed to do what he's told. Yeah. And he's played very, very well by, I think, someone who should be very, very big in the next little while. Chiwetel Ejiofor, who...
He's great.
He just come off an Oscar nomination for 12 Years a Slave.
Which was great.
I think he should have won, to be honest. Yeah, he should have won. Sorry, Matthew McConaughey.
I'm not sorry. And
you basically played Tom Hanks in Philadelphia. So, like, just as a hillbilly. So, stop stealing Oscars.
It was a very good movie.
What was Dallas Buyers Club?
Yeah, I really liked it.
It was alright.
But you shouldn't have won.
Or Jared Leto.
I liked that Jared Leto.
Yeah, but Michael Fassbender. Michael Fassbender. Just saying, I would.
Now you know what Charlie does.
So does she.
The Alliance is coming after them to get
to
River
retrieve their property, basically, as they see it.
And the Alliance in this movie is the one man who's coming after them, and he is kind of impartial to everything.
Yeah.
He's like...
He has his orders, and he's gonna get River back.
He's very much into sins. Which is... it's weird.
Well put. Yeah, he is a... Yeah. And that makes him very, very frightening.
It is true.
There's a lot of ingredients that make a good movie villain, and this one is that he does not... Like, his own feelings or feelings of others do not matter. He has a job to do, and he will...
And he will do it.
Yeah. And so that makes him just a little bit more intimidating somehow.
Because he has nothing to lose.
No.
And throughout the course...
And the heroes do.
And the heroes have a lot to lose.
Yeah. And don't... I know what you're thinking.
Watch the movie.
I was trying to see if you were laughing and crying. Yes.
I was crying. And throughout the movie, the heroes learn that the Alliance has been lying.
A few secrets that they don't want out.
There
are secrets that come up, things that were only hinted at in the Firefly show. And I think if Firefly continued as it should have...
Fox.
Damn you, Fox. If it had continued, I think it would have eventually gotten to these kinds of things, because I know Joss Whedon
had the whole thing planned out.
And he does that. He plans so far ahead. And I love Firefly. I'm a big fan of Serenity. It did not make my list. I had it in the back of my head and like, wow, I know it. I knew you were going to have Serenity on there.
It means a lot to me.
It means it's going to mean a lot to a lot of people. I mean, like Star Wars fans, Star Trek fans, like there are a lot of fan bases that it really does become a part of them. They get to know these people, and I get why it's your number two, because obviously, I mean, they're people I know. Yeah. I mean, they feel like family.
They're people that
they have personality. So what are a few that you wish you could have gotten on the list but just weren't able to?
Alright, my honorable mentions are... They're in order from...
Oh, I just have them alphabetized because they could have...
No.
I had to pick some out of a hat because someone wanted to have 15 names mentioned
We
rather than
didn't
just 10.
have to.
Well, go on. Like, what are a handful?
Predator.
Wow, really?
Close Encounters. Fifth Element.
You'd actually come as Lilu from Fifth Element. Gee, I'm good.
Multipass. Blade Runner.
Okay.
And Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh, which one? Okay, the black and white one?
Yeah.
And I wanted to mention Altered States, Children of Men,
I love that movie.
which Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but I wrote it off because E.T. is similar themes and same director. Minority Report, I wrote off because of AI, another futuristic Spielberg movie, THX 1138, which has... it didn't make my list because the second half becomes a bit of a fugitive movie, and the ideas are in the first half.
Yeah.
The greatest science fiction film of all time.
In my opinion. My number one is 2001: Space Odyssey.
Is it really?
It is.
The first half hour, it takes place very, very far in the distant past.
Yes.
We're talking before humans came to be. We're following a sort of clan of very early humans, sort of an ape-like race, and they find something very, very mysterious on Earth. It looks like a giant chocolate bar stuck in the earth. It's a big black monolith, and after their encounter with this, they discover a new sense of using things as tools. It unlocks something within, and we cut to 2001, I guess.
Yeah, 2001.
Yeah. 13 years ago.
Oh my god.
We cut to the moon. We're on the moon.
We're on the moon.
And mankind, modern mankind, we're with humans now, they find the same thing. They find a black monolith.
Chocolate bar.
Giant chocolate bar.
They found the chocolate bar.
Monolith. And it's sending a signal into deep space.
Yeah.
And that's where the Space Odyssey kind of kicks in.
And then we're on a spaceship. We're heading to Jupiter.
It is, yeah, Jupiter.
And,
or one of the moons of Jupiter. Something like that.
We're going to the vicinity
Deep space.
of Jupiter.
It's not a walk.
No, it takes a while.
Yeah.
And we follow the crew, I guess.
A crew of two really, because these actual scientists are actually, once again, in cryosleep. Yeah.
It's funny how that works.
And Dave and Frank.
There are three characters in this entire movie.
Basically, yeah.
The two human characters,
Dave and Frank.
We only see for what feels like 5 minutes. And the computer system.
One of my very favorite movie villains.
Everyone knows the computer.
Hal 9000.
Hal 9000. And he's basically the movie because
he has the most probably lines of dialogue.
Yeah.
He's the most complex. He goes through the most changes.
He's the best voice actor.
Yeah.
I love that voice actor.
Douglas Rain, I think, is the name of the actor who did the voice.
Yeah, I think so. And we follow these three characters because they're the only people.
As they're going through space, and their mission is to find out where the signal from the moon is going.
Yes.
And Hal develops a sort of paranoia.
Yes.
Or it could be a malfunction.
We don't actually.
No. Well, this is one of the great things about the movie is there's so many things that are left open-ended.
Yeah.
Is it because he's getting closer to the signal? Is it becoming sentient? Is he malfunctioning?
He's terrifying.
Because he's in control of everything about the ship.
Yeah. And you feel the suspense.
I remember.
You're terrified while you're sitting there.
Yeah.
It's like you're actually in the movie, which is one of the great things about it, I find, because every good movie should be able to make you feel like you're inside the movie.
Oh, yeah. I think the reason that it sucks you in is because every scene lingers.
Yeah.
Just long enough so that you really start to get into it. You feel the pacing,
Yeah.
and I was hypnotized watching this movie.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie.
Watching on a small screen is I watched it late at night, black room, full screen, and I was absolutely absorbed from frame one of that the sun, the moon, and the earth lining up, and from then on, right until the very, very perplexing and ambiguous ending. It had me, and I'm going to reveal right now my choice, which is the exact same film, Stanley Kubrick's 2001: Space Odyssey. And some people have Casablanca, some people have Citizen Kane. This, for me, is the reason why I love movies. And the reason I think it's the greatest movie, not of just this genre, but of movies in general, is, again, the thing this genre's good at is the ideas, or the ideas that not only it presents, but the ideas it sort of triggers off.
Yeah.
Like, it's not clear what makes Hal malfunction, and it's not clear what the hell is happening at the end. Because
that ending, man.
It's very sort of trippy ending, followed by very eerie, and lastly, very magnificent ending. The last shot of the movie is one of my very favorite shots. And it's a film about artificial intelligence, it's a film about evolution, it's a film about the past, and the future, and technology, and humanity. And I think this is one of the movies that reaches for the infinite.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about films, is that they reach out, and it impacted me very, very much watching special effects like this, being like awake, like I felt awakened watching this movie. And at the end, where it really is kind of a journey, I'm talking about the end journey. It took me to like a different plane of existence. It
blew me away.
It blew me away.
Watched it.
Okay.
So to recap, my top 10 are Jurassic Park, Equilibrium, The Matrix, Sunshine, The Day the Earth Stood Still, E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial, Metropolis, Aliens, Serenity, and 2001: Space Odyssey.
Still think you made a big mistake on Aliens. And my top 10 lists were number 10, The Day the Earth Stood Still, number 9, Forbidden Planet, number 8, Back to the Future, number 7, Solaris, the original Russian Solaris, number 6, WALL-E, number 5, also E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial, number 4, also Metropolis, number 3, Steven Spielberg's AI Artificial Intelligence, and at number 2, A Trip to the Moon. Watch A Trip to the Moon. I can't stress that enough. And at number 1, also Stanley Kubrick's 2001: Space Odyssey. Wow, that was great.
That was great. I feel good.
We might be doing more top 10 lists. We might just pick a handful of movies to just bicker about, because we did bicker a little bit.
Bickering is fun. People like watching.
Why is Aliens on your list?
Yeah!